All right, let's get started, Lou. Good afternoon again, everyone. Thanks for joining. I hate to cut the song short, Will Smith song short, but thanks again for joining us. This is Arthur Jimenez. I'm the Director of Business Development at PIDC. I'm also joined by Timothy Roundtree, Deputy Director, of Rebuild, and also Ellen Nalen, who's the owner and president of the Surety Bond Associates. So the agenda is we'll introduce our other speakers, and then we will let Timothy Roundtree talk about the Rebuild program. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Timothy, do you want to introduce yourself? And then Ellen, you want to introduce yourself right after?
Yep.
Okay. I'll always go to the next slide. So you can introduce yourself there, Timothy.
Mm-hmm. All right, this me?
Yep, it's you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Arthur indicated, my name is Timothy Roundtree. I am the Deputy Director for Diversity Inclusion for the Mayor's Rebuild program. So I want to take a couple minutes just to provide a high-level overview of the program. I'm going to definitely at some point defer to Ellen Nalen, who's one of our consultants that helps support the Rebuild program as it relates to business supports training. But just, to talk about Rebuild. So several years back, the current administration had made a commitment, to rebuild and renew community hubs. So that consists of our parks, rec centers, and libraries. And really the focus was to provide a place for residents to meet, to play, to learn, and a place where, the city can provide essential community services. So there are approximately 72 sites identified and a commitment to invest over $400 million in needed improvements of these facilities. And the Regal program was created to respond to those needs. Next slide. So the Rebuild process really is designed to promote inclusion and opportunities for diverse businesses and individuals. So the essential core objective for Rebuild is to provide physical improvements to public facilities, include residents in a planning process of the improvements through community engagement, and then also to create pathways for diverse Philadelphians to be able to work on Rebuild projects. Next slide. So one of the ways that we are investing in diverse businesses is through a personalized business supports training program that's really designed to help small minority and women-owned businesses become more competitive for work on Rebuild projects and to help our nonprofit partners identify qualified MWBE vendors to contract with to help them meet very ambitious diversity goals. Next slide. So I want to turn things over now to Ellen. She's going to talk a little bit more about the Rebuild Ready training program.
Thanks, Tim. I think these slides are yours, but I can go over them. Rebuild Ready designed a business support program to help MWBEs get access to all the resources that they need to compete and win Rebuild contract opportunities. We can help you get access to bonding if you're bidding as a prime contractor, or if even as a subcontractor, the GC may want you to get bonding. We can provide you with access to capital, help you with your bidding and estimating skills. We have consultants that help you with cash flow, budgeting, and financial management. We can provide you with assistance to get certified as an MBE or WBE, and then help with all the back office paperwork that can bog down many smaller firms. Next slide. Rebuild also has launched an emerging vendor program, and this is really critical for those eligible MWBE contractors that just haven't taken the time to get certified, because it is a time-consuming process. So if you're eligible, if you're a City of Philadelphia-based a minority or woman-owned construction company or engineering firm or community engagement firm, you can get counted towards Rebuild achieving their diversity goals as an MWBE while you're getting certified. For up to $150,000 worth of Rebuild projects while you're getting certified can be counted towards primes, GCs, and project users reaching their diversity goals. And you can take up to 18 months to get certified. And your information will be shared with project users, and GCs bidding on Rebuild contracts will be encouraged to utilize your firm while you're getting certified, and we can provide you with technical assistance to help you with certification. Next slide. I think this is you, Tim.
Yep, thanks, Ellen. So this slide really provides a high-level detail on current and upcoming opportunities for projects in the fall of this year, as well as the spring of 2022. So this slide provides a rough timeline and scope for these projects. And as you can see, we have 3 or 4 projects that are close to starting, which means that they're expected to go out to bid. So between all 4 projects, we are looking at over $31 million in potential contract opportunities. Next slide. So question is what does a vendor need to do to get ready for all these opportunities? Well, Rebuild has developed an outreach plan to ensure that diverse businesses stay connected. So diverse businesses will need to, if they haven't already, register with Rebuild through our call for interest. And this will allow you to gain access to contract opportunities in real time. So through our contractor portal, you can receive email alerts when bid opportunities for projects go out, and any other outreach events that get scheduled. So this process allows also, as Ellen indicated, for Regal nonprofit partners to connect directly to diverse businesses with direct vendors as part of their outreach efforts. Next slide. So to access the call for interest or Rebuild Ready program, or even our workforce development program, or even the EVP program, you can go to our website, which is at rebuild.phila.gov, if you're interested in any of the programs that we talked about. So to that, I'll turn it back over to Arthur.
Thanks, Tim. I think actually, Ellen, why don't you talk more about the go next slide, please?
Yes,
and then we can talk more about the Rebuild Ready program.
And good afternoon, everyone. I overlooked introducing myself when I spoke earlier, but my name is Ellen Nalen. I'm owner of Surety Bond Associates, and Surety Bond Associates is one of the 2 consultants that have been hired by Rebuild to run their Rebuild Ready business support program. We are partnering with the Enterprise Center, and collectively we have graduated 7 cohorts since launching the program a little bit over 2 years ago. We've collectively worked with close to 100 firms in helping the firms get prepared to start bidding on Rebuild projects. Next slide, please. In terms of our Rebuild Ready cohort training program, there's kind of a 2-pronged approach to it. The Surety Bond Associates team, our focus is really on the construction, financial and financial management side of things. The Enterprise Center, their cohort workshops are are focused more on entrepreneurial and general business development skills and improving those skills. We focus on the technical side of things. A lot of emphasis is placed on construction accounting and financial management. This is one of the areas that a lot of construction firms are weakest in, so we focus a lot of our attention on that. We provide you with access to construction CPA firms and financial managers and help you set up your QuickBooks properly, help you with bookkeeping. We have a full day QuickBooks contractor clinic that is offered at least twice a year. We also have a team of construction consultants that help you with blueprint reading and interpreting those blueprints. We actually use a rebuild project during the cohort training to walk you through all of the sections of the RFP so that you're familiar with the blueprint reading, how to interpret those blueprints, how to prepare your estimate, how to complete all the paperwork that is required when you submit a bid on rebuild and other city projects. So you're learning how to bid on other city projects as well. We have a construction attorney that can help with disputes, reviewing contracts, liens, and things of that nature, so that you understand more about that side of things and how to better manage your risk on contracts that you might be considering bidding on. We cover unions, prevailing wage, and certified payroll. We have consultants that can help you with your payment applications and completing your certified payroll. And if you are a subcontractor on a rebuild project, you'll have to submit those payrolls via a system called LCP Tracker. So we teach you all about that. And project cash flow management is also a big aspect of our cohort training. Now, I mentioned that we've trained 7 cohorts. We have our next cohort is a partnership with the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and that cohort is going to be a bilingual cohort with Spanish-speaking subject matter experts. So we're real excited about the launch of that initiative. It's kind of a pilot, and we'll be launching that in mid-October. Next slide, please. And this is a slide depicts all the financial resources that are available to support small businesses, financial and technical resources. We can provide you with assistance in getting your certification once you've been accepted into the Emerging Vendor Program. That assistance is offered through the Enterprise Center. Our team helps you respond to a rebuild request for qualifications, or RFQ. The nonprofit project users are procuring construction contracts a little bit differently. They have their first round of procurement involves an RFQ where GCs and subcontractors all submit the same package prior to the RFP coming out. And that's meant to help firms collaborate and build teams prior to the actual bid coming out. So we help you with all of that paperwork. We help you with your bond application. And a lot of the paperwork is very similar, whether it's your certification, your RFQ application, or your bond application. So we're helping you gather all your paperwork and get organized. And the rebuild contract line of credit loan application is something Arthur's going to discuss. But again, our consultants can help you gather the information that you're going to need to submit your rebuild line of credit application. I mentioned before, accounting and bookkeeping assistance is available. We have 2 consultants that provide back office accounting and bookkeeping assistance, as well as construction procurement and back office contract administration assistance. We have consultants that can help you if you do land a project with your project management through site visits, monitoring, helping you monitor the project, helping you with field operations, and submitting your payment applications. Next slide. We're really excited now that we've trained close to 100 contractors. We are offering a mentorship program that should be rolling out sometime late fall. And this is going to be a more hands-on peer group coaching and mentorship program that is offered to Rebuild alumni. Rather than having access to lectures, we're actually going to take that experience and take it to the next level. In the classroom activity, everyone's going to be broken up into groups, into teams, and they'll be responding to a Rebuild RFQ. They'll be responding and completing Rebuild project documents so that they're ready when it's time to start bidding. We're going to have a mock bid. Each of the groups will get together and bid on an actual Rebuild project. And eventually this activity will culminate into kind of a mock bid opening at the end. They'll learn how to submit a project budget, how to prepare a payment application, and actually prepare a certified payroll and submit that payroll through LCP Tracker. Throughout the mentorship program, they'll be assigned one of our construction mentors that they can work with throughout the program. Next slide, please. So to participate in this mentorship program, we're really looking for firms that have completed a Rebuild Ready cohort training, but are also committed to and ready to start bidding on Rebuild contracts. So we're limiting this to just GC or trade firms that are committed again to bidding on Rebuild projects. The firm would have to either be approved as an EVP or already an MWBE and listed in the OEO registry. So these firms are ready to start being counted. The firm would have to be willing to complete a contractor qualification application and provide their supporting documents. And we're kind of looking for firms that have a little bit of experience and a track record. We're looking at gross sales of maybe $250,000 annually. We're willing to be flexible on that if a firm meets all the other criteria. Next slide. And these are the financial resources. Arthur's going to talk about the Rebuild contract line of credit. That's key. And all of you, if you're looking to bid on Rebuild projects, should start signing up for that line of credit as soon as possible. We can provide you with access to bonding and access to insurance. These are the three financial products that are going to be critical to having access to when you start bidding on these projects. Next slide, which I think is the end of me. Yes.
Thanks, Ellen. So take a step back. This is PIDC's business lending products. The Rebuild contract line of credit is one of them. We also offer a working capital equipment loan. We have a called the traditional contract line of credit, and it works as similar to the Rebuild contract line of credit, but it's just for any type of contract, whether it's city or private, privately owned. It helps you get paid faster on those contracts. We have a capital project loan, which has been around for, I guess, several decades now. This helps you purchase a property, and especially if you are a business that is creating jobs, you can access below market rate loans. And then lastly, we have a commercial mortgage loan. So this really is for any type of business in Philadelphia that has the opportunity to purchase their building that they're currently occupying or is close by. It helps to helps your business and the owner build wealth and equity, and it gives them more control of their destiny, so to speak. So you're no longer paying lease payments, no longer signing leases. You now own the property. So that's the product we offer for that. Next slide, please. And so as Ellen mentioned earlier, the Regal contract line of credit, it's a very unique opportunity because not only is it has a discounted interest rate of 1.5%, it has a mobilization grant. So this is free money up to $5,000. They can only be used towards rebuild contracts. This is through our generous funder, JP Morgan Chase. And that $5,000 can be used towards payroll, supplies, equipment, fees, and any anything related to rebuild contract work. The application just has to include the details of the proposed grant uses. So just like a budget, basically, of how the grants will be used. And that's how it's all part of the same application. And again, the contract line of credit for rebuild projects is to bridge receivables for rebuild contracts. So you don't have to wait 30, 60 or more days to get paid. You get, once you're signed up and once you do have an approved invoice, you tell the PIDC team that you'd like to get advance on the contract invoice, and then you would receive the funds in about usually 1 to 2 weeks. They get directly deposited in your account. So the loan is it's an advance of 90% of the approved receivable, and the term is every 12 months. You'll have to be the line of credit will need to be renewed, and the loan and the line of credit amount is usually between amounts of $50,000 to $300,000. That's usually about a third or half of the contract amount, because let's say if you have a contract of say $500,000 with rebuild, you probably won't have $500,000 outstanding. From our experience, it's usually about half or a third is outstanding, and therefore that's how much the line of credit is. That's going to be your limit on the line of credit. And then this is just comparing it to the traditional line of credit. It works very similar. The traditional line of credit has a higher interest rate of 3.5%, so that the rebuild is much lower. And again, this is only for rebuild projects. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the process. It does take in total about 30 to 45 days. This chart here just lines out the steps we go through to approve a loan application. So it does start off with a one-on-one call with myself or someone on our team at PIDC. Then we ask you, if it looks like you qualify and you're a good fit, we ask you to apply. That includes filling out the online application and uploading some supplemental documentation. There's usually a cost of $250 to apply, but now that's been waived for 2021. Next, then once we receive the application, we review it, our team reviews it. We may ask for additional documents, and then we start on the underwriting process. And then our team completes a full underwriting process and we present it to the loan committee. So all our loans have to go to a committee that gets approves loans. They usually meet every 2 weeks. And then once we have approval for the loan committee, we provide a commitment letter in 2 days. And then after that, once you sign a commitment letter, then we draft a loan documents. Our legal team provides loan documents, and then we request for the it's called the a payment directive and assignment of contract. But since the PIDC works closely with rebuild, that process is pretty much very straightforward. And then after that, that's when we schedule the loan closing. So there are some closing fees, as this is after you've been approved. It's up to $1,250 for loans over $50,000 or lines of credit over $50,000. If it's the lowest amount of $50,000, it's a reduced fee of $750. Okay, and that does not include any real estate related recording fees. But okay, Next slide, please. This is a high-level overview of the underwriting fundamentals, like how do we review your application. First, we look at these are called the 5 C's of credit. First is the character. So we just look at your background, like your how much history do you have in the experience? Do you have running the business, or do you have operating in the industry? We also look at your credit report. We don't have a cutoff credit score, but we just want to get the sense of your ability to repay really any type of debt, and that in the last 12 months that you've been good about staying on top of your bills and you paying your bills on time. So that's really the extent we look at your credit report. We don't want to see any type of like collections or things like that, or late payments. If there are, we can talk about it. You just have to disclose the cause of those late payments. And that's a discussion. Again, there is no cutoff for your credit score. But if there are some blemishes, we can discuss that. The next C is collateral. In most cases, the contract proceeds, the assignment of the contract is the collateral. In most cases, additional collateral will not be required. But if you really are looking for the maximum amount of the contract line of credit, we may require additional collateral. Okay, for cash flow, we look at the business cash flow. How is the business performing over the past 3 years? We do take into account the effects of COVID on your business. So we do understand that there probably been a dip in sales or increase in expenses because of that. But generally speaking, we want to see that your business is operating well, it's profitable. You are a stable business, or growing, which would be great. And we just want to understand better how your business earns revenue, what your cost structure looks like, and how profitable your business is. And then capital, we look at the capital of the capital assets of the business. So that usually includes like the net worth of the business, how much money or like your own working capital do you have? You've been investing in the business. Is there any other debt that's included in the business? We look at those things for capital. And then lastly is conditions. This is just generally the industry conditions. And that's more just like overview of looking at the construction industry as a whole, and then perhaps any specific industry you're involved in. So that's those are really the buckets we look at when we look at your application. Yep. So the next slide, please. So we do have an online application. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. As Ellen said, her team is available to assist, but it is pretty straightforward. It just requires a lot of documents to upload at the end. So that's probably the hardest part. It does ask for basic information as your name, address. There are some questions about if you ever filed for bankruptcy before. That will not preclude you, but we just need to know what that history is. And if any of the owners have ever any accounts in collections or judgments or unpaid taxes, that does not preclude you, but we do just need to understand what your situation is. There's about 7 pages of the online application, and then at the end asks you upload documents such as we'll get to that. There's no slide for the attachments. Next slide, please. Here you go. So if you do have you do not need a rebuild contract for the application. You can upload it later on in the process. But if you have it, great, you can upload it. We also ask for what the project budget is, and what are you looking for to, if you are, in addition to advancing approved invoices, are there any other working capital needs? So that will be in the project budget. We do ask you to fill out a credit consent form, so that gives us permission to look at your credit report. We also do check to see if you're on your taxes, on city taxes. So that's a tax certification form. And then we also ask for the standard documents of, 3 years of business tax returns, your personal financial statement. When you upload those, please have them signed. A lot of times we don't see a signed copy of that. And then we ask for interim financial statements, 3 years of personal tax returns for any owner, more than 20% ownership. And then we ask you to fill out a spreadsheet with your existing company debt schedule. Other supplements you can upload are like resume, and as appraisal. That's really if a property needs is involved for that's more for a commercial mortgage. But an organizational chart we'd love to see, articles of incorporation. We don't need that right away, but if you have that handy, you can upload that, please. In the beginning, 3 months of bank statements. We'll go over this now as the monthly projections of the rebuild project. And then lastly, we always ask if you keep track of your aging payables and receivables. Okay, next slide, please. So this is a sample of the projected cash flow. We don't need this from day one, but this is a really good exercise to go through to help you understand the timing of when you bill an invoice and the timing of when you incur those expenses. So it's usually like in this example here, you usually incur expenses first and then you bill in the next month. So for example, in the month of April, there are some expenses incurred by payroll, materials, and it's only in May is when the billings are made, when the invoice is sent, say, to rebuild, and then the receipt happens the month after. So you'll see that in May there's billings of $20,000, and then those billings are actually received in the month of June. So essentially almost about 2 months after the expenses have been incurred. So it's a good exercise to really help us understand what the total cash flow need is. So it's on the bottom there. Those cells in the bottom automatically calculate. So we just need you to, we can help you with this, help you fill out what your expenses are, the time of those billings, and when the cash is received from the invoice. But you'll see here on the, it looks like at the month of July, there is a cash flow need. The highest cash flow need is $37,000, $37,500. So that just shows that that's probably the most you probably need to qualify for, or have a contract line of credit limit about $50,000 to cover that shortfall. Okay, again, this looks a little confusing, but we can help you fill this out. And this is a great exercise to go through again to understand the timing of your billings and your cash receipts. Okay, next slide, please. And then I mentioned about collateral. So when we talk about collateral, I mentioned that earlier already, the assignment of the contract proceeds, because we'll be advancing you the funds. We just have to make sure that the rebuild funds come to PIDC when they are ready to get paid. So that's just what the assignment of proceeds means. All other collateral that's required is a personal guarantee. So any business owner that has more than 20% ownership needs to personally guarantee the loan. And then there will be also a lien on business assets. So that's very standard for small business loans in general. But I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Okay. Next slide, please. And that's it. So this is that's me there. That's my contact information. I'll actually put that's my office phone. I'll put my cell phone number in the chat. That's a better way to contact me. And that's my email address. And these are my colleagues, Evelyn Motavo and Heather Hanowitz. We're all available to answer any questions about either the rebuild contract line of credit product or any type of product at PIDC. We're always here to help and answer your questions. Okay. I think that's our last slide. So I think at this moment we'll open any questions from the audience. It really could be anything about rebuild projects, about the Rebuild Ready program, about the PIDC products. Please We're here to help and to help answer any questions you have.
There is a question, Arthur, that's really directed for you.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing, as a small nonprofit owner's rep interested in getting a line of credit for pre-development costs, this is not something I can take advantage of, correct?
It's a nonprofit
It's
developer.
a nonprofit owner's rep interested in getting a line of credit for pre-development costs. This wouldn't be covered by the rebuild contract line of credit, but is there any product that PIDC offers that might work?
There may be more. So that's a good question. So there is a real estate lending team that really works on real estate projects, development projects. So I still encourage you to get in touch with me, and I can make an introduction. Let me find my information here. Again, this is my email address. We do have a real estate development team that can, usually, honestly, I don't know if they can finance pre-development costs, but I think it's still worthy of a conversation, especially if you have a unique project, they might be able to assist there. And my phone number is 267-343-9027.
Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask in the chat?
Looks like there was another one, but you answered it, right, Ellen?
Yeah, I
Since
answered
I was
it.
not participating in the classes. Yeah. So you can still rebuild. You can still
Oh, yeah.
bid on rebuild projects.
No.
Yeah. Any other questions? And just because this doesn't have to be real contract line of credit specific, or just want to make sure that you have you can ask any type of question related to rebuild.
Arthur, Jacqueline Sim says that they can't see your information. Would you like me to unmute them?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm sorry. I can't see. I heard you
You
typing.
can't see the chat window?
I'm looking at the chat window, and the only information I see in the chat window is Miss Ellen's information for surety bond. So
Maybe
what
I'm
am
putting
I?
the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, I think
Maybe-
I'm missing. I actually put in the wrong. I chose host and panelists. So do you see this now? That's my
Yes.
email address.
Yes, thank
There
you.
you go. Thank you for saying this. I get mixed up with this sometimes. 267-343. And Jacqueline, while I have you here, can you introduce yourself a bit and what your business does?
Well, sure. I'm the nonprofit. They put the question in
Oh,
there.
you are a nonprofit. Okay, what kind of nonprofit do you have?
Well, I work for Maple Corporation. We're a small nonprofit focused on the owners representation, focused on affordable housing renovation and construction of affordable housing in Philadelphia.
Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. Yeah, let's definitely there are other resources I think I can connect you to. So let's definitely connect offline.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jacqueline. Any other questions? Tim, I want to ask you, can you speak about the, I just saw there's, with community ventures, the project user, looks like they have some upcoming projects. Are those related to the ones that you posted earlier? Or those are
They're not.
different?
They're different projects. The projects that Community Ventures are working on has not come out of the pre-design phase yet.
Okay. Because I do see them on the contract opportunities website for rebuild. So that's still a pre-bid.
Yeah, yes, we haven't.
What phase has item?
The project hasn't entered into the construction phase yet.
Okay.
And when it does,
So the ones that you posted. So the ones that you posted earlier, those have entered the construction phase.
Yeah, so those are the
Like
ones that
Capitol Playground.
Yeah, well, actually, Capitolo, and we should have updated that slide, but that just so the bids were already due for that project already, and a contract is going to be selected soon. The other three are we anticipate going out to bid within the next 30 days.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess we don't have any other questions. Why don't we just have some closing remarks? How about Ellen? Do you have any closing remarks before we wrap it up?
Just that I encourage all of you to take advantage of the opportunities and the services offered by the Rebuild program. They won't be around forever.
Right.
These are excellent resources. The line of credit is low interest, pretty easy to qualify for. There's a mobilization grant, which you hardly ever see in any loan product anywhere. And,
right.
And our team of construction specialists is ready, willing, and able to help you succeed in your bidding efforts.
And you were saying, Ellen, they're cohort 7 as the Rebuild Ready cohort. Is there like a limit?
No, we've completed 7 cohort trainings. Our 8th is exclusive with the Hispanic Chamber. And our next, if you know, I'm assuming we'll do another regular cohort, but that probably won't be until next April or May. But in the meantime, if anyone is interested in getting access to resources, they can still reach out to us and access those resources that they need to support their bidding activities.
Okay. Thank you for Ellen.
Yep.
Tim, do you have any closing remarks before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ellen, pretty much covered it, and I share her sentiments. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Again, it was a comprehensive approach to diversity inclusion, again, to ensure that not only the diverse businesses get opportunities, but that resources are there to help support them and to help, with economic growth, as well as, trying to come up with a process that really creates pathways for diverse individuals that want to pursue careers within the construction trades. So, again, we have this opportunity. We're glad to just be a part. We partner with PIDC and hosting these workshops because it's important for us to continue to get the word out, to let people know that, there's funding available to support different types of programs and initiatives like this to really, help diverse businesses be able to thrive within the city of Philadelphia.
Arthur, we do have a question in the chat from Malik Benin. When does the next Rebuild Ready cohort training begin? Application process, question mark?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that we're probably not going to have another regular cohort until next April, but contractors can still get access to Rebuild resources in the meantime. And I'm actually putting my email address in the chat box again so that they can contact me directly.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to wrap up again. There's a ton of resources that we've talked about, both Timothy and Ellen mentioned in their slides. Again, contact them if you have any questions, you want to follow up. And we also have the Rebuild Contract Line of Credit resource that does come with a mobilization grant, which is really unheard of. So we're really lucky to have that. So again, we encourage you to apply to just get the process started. You can contact me. I do have to send you the application link. On our website, it's only the inquiry link. And for the application link, I do have to send that out. So again, please contact me. My email address there. It is a.jimenez@pidcphila.com. I think that is definitely the chat window already. I'll put it one more time. And yeah, any questions, please, I'm open to it. Either for myself and I can always reroute it to either Timothy or Ellen if they're the better party to answer. Okay, I think with that, there's no other questions. We'll wrap it up. And thank you again for making time to attend. And yeah, we'll see you in the next webinar. Okay, thanks again, Tim. Thanks, Ellen. And thanks for the Whittier team for helping us out.
Yes.
All right.
See you next time.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.